Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of the Rock Show. Jesus Christ,
What
this
are we
is
up to now?
58.
58, yeah.
58, and this is Kiss, the making of the Destroy album.
Yeah. This is I mean, most Kiss fans will agree it's probably one of their best albums, if not their best. It's my favorite.
This
personally.
is my favorite album. I
Yeah.
really like some of the other stuff later on, but this album starts with.
This is the original band.
Yeah.
It was their fourth studio album. Basically, the first three were Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill.
Yeah.
But by the time 1975 came along, they came out with the Kiss Alive album.
Yeah.
Okay, and that just broke it open for them.
Yeah.
And it's really one of the few times in history that like a live album really broke a band.
Yeah.
Okay, but they had to top that with the next album, had to keep it going, so that became Destroy It.
These guys had a lot of fucking. They had like 20 studio albums.
Oh yeah.
They had fucking 8 live albums. And you know how many singles they took out? Which I was like,
Tons.
60 singles. That was like,
Easily.
I haven't seen a group that's a lot of fucking singles, man.
I mean, remember, in the first, 2 years of their existence, they had 4 albums.
Yeah.
That's, unheard of.
Yeah,
even then, when people would put 2 albums out a year, even that was unheard of. You know what I mean?
Dude, but them doing 4 albums like that, how the hell did they do it? They were just in the studio all the time, or were they
Constantly. They got signed to Casablanca Records.
Yeah, which was
early
a big
on.
thing.
It was a big thing. Well, the funny thing was it was a fucking disco label.
A disco
Donna
label?
Summer was on Casablanca. Okay, but they they were like, I don't know if they were the only rock band, but definitely at first they were probably the first rock band that label signed, and they were in the studio a lot. They were the hardest working band, definitely in the early years.
Imagine that Christmas party, Diana Ross.
Well,
Kiss.
Gene Simmons used to go out with Diana Ross.
I still think that's a hell of a party.
Yeah.
Those people doing blowing the bag, talking
I
shit.
can't imagine. Simmons was always sober though.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's what he's saying. But that guy looked like he was lumped up a bunch of times. He might be doing something. He might be
Maybe. I don't know, but
I don't think he drank, but I think he definitely took like mushrooms or acid or something.
maybe in the '60s. I don't know. I've read his books, and he says he was never interested in that kind of stuff. He always wanted to make money.
Yeah,
which we know.
Yeah,
which we know.
He also married to that hot girl.
Sharon Tweed.
Oh my God, that's his wife.
That show was great. Family Jewels.
Yeah,
I love the show. And there is an episode where he drinks for the first time.
Oh yeah,
and he gets like a little lumped up, and he doesn't like it. It's fucking great, man.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, when Kiss Alive went gold, okay, they spent 110 weeks on the charts in 1975, between 75 and 76, and it basically saved the Casablanca label.
Yeah.
Okay, that album. That album was struggling. That label was struggling a little bit to get off the ground. Okay, and that album definitely, broke it open for that label.
Let me ask you, around this time, you think disco was trying to die out? That's what Casablanca was? Or was
No,
disco
it was
still
picking
going
up.
strong?
It was picking up. You got to remember, 75, 76, disco ruled the world.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, there were rock bands that were established, but even rock bands were doing disco songs.
Yeah.
Rod Stewart with disco and, things like that. And I mean, some of that stuff's okay. When you hear it now, you're like, yeah, it's good. But back then, that was like a fucking, what?
Dude, you want to hear something crazy? Hole and Oat.
Yeah.
Sold out Madison Square Garden.
I believe it.
When somebody told me that, I said, "What the fuck?"
There is such a desire now for younger people and us guys our age to kind of just look back at all this old shit. You know why? Because the music today sucks.
Yeah, I guess
there's
that's what it is.
There's nothing. I mean, and I try to. I mean, look, I'm 50. I don't look at every little thing, but I try to stay somewhat current. And I just can't find anything worthwhile.
No, the music now is pretty bad. It's like it's just synthesized. It's like when you listen to it, and everybody sounds the same. Nobody want to separate.
It's all just
from
like
each other.
auto-tuned vocals. Okay, everybody has that auto-tuned vocals. They use it in every genre of music. Whether it's pop, R&B, or rap, everybody's talking through that fucking computer.
Yeah, it's almost like fucking with Kenny Osborne.
Yeah, I mean, even a pretty lame band like Hall and Oates, at least they played broken instruments.
Yeah,
and people want to see that. It's a live thing. Okay, and then there's the the kitsch element to it. You know, people they think it's funny. You get the younger people laughing at it. But yeah, I can see them selling at Madison Square Garden.
With the old school fucking 70
well,
John mustache.
John Oates just came out. It was on I forget where I saw it online. I know I posted it on my Facebook.
Dude, were they gay?
No, not at all.
Because he was talking about how many girls this other guy.
No, John Oates. He was really like not the guy in the forefront. Daryl Hall was in the forefront. But Oates said he like had sex with like 3,000 women.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, I don't know if I believe that.
I was like,
I'm sure he had quite a few.
When I saw that, I said, really, that guy was a...
Well, if that's true, then Daryl Hall had 6,000. Right? Yeah. You know, how can you even count that high? Like, wouldn't you just like stop counting?
After a while, it's just the same shit.
Yeah, in fact, Gene Simmons is probably one of the only guys that could have some count because he had a photo album with like Polaroids of everybody he ever slept with.
Did you remember the Will Chamberlain one?
Yeah, Will Chamberlain.
Like over 20,000 women.
Something like that's insane.
Like he would like have like 3
When do you have time to play basketball?
It's only a 2.5-hour game.
It's a different twist on Wilt the Still, right? Anyway, let's talk about this great album, Destroyer. All right. Now, after Alive went gold and spent all that time on the charts, the band signed. They were up to a new deal had to be drawn up. So the band signed to only a 2-record deal with Casablanca, which you could look at that in some different ways. I think that the label, even though they appreciated Kiss coming out with a live album and it doing well, I think they kind of were unsure where they were going to go from there. So they only gave him a 2-record deal. Now,
and maybe it could have been Kiss that just went the 2-record label because they was thinking about the future, maybe starting their own record label.
Maybe it was mutual where they probably figured let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, if we have to break away, and eventually they would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. If let's say they did a 6-record label, like a 6-fucking deal, that's
now
hard.
you're tied in.
You tied in for how many years, you know? Yeah. But if you say 2, you know, they've been taking out. They took out 4 albums in no time.
Yeah, I mean, and they were putting 2 albums out a year, pretty much. So it could have just been a short time. But they did something different. They would bring in producer Bob Ezrin. Now, Bob Ezrin was known for his work with Alice Cooper, the original Alice Cooper band, and also Alice Cooper's first solo album called Welcome to My Nightmare. Mm-hmm. He was known as a hard-working, really good producer that could change a band. Yeah. All right, he did it with Alice Cooper. I remember last year we talked about Cooper and how bringing in Bob Ezrin got them away from that kind of like crazy Frank Zappa stuff, and even though that's okay, but moved it over to like more of a straight ahead rock with like a twist on it.
Yeah, but he was still fucking weird.
Of course,
he had that kookiness about him.
Yeah, and he still does. Now Bob Ezrin was brought in, and the band was brought into Electric Ladyland Studios in August of '75. Between August and September of '75, they started working on that. He basically was also brought in to discipline the band, okay? And maybe not at first, but I think he realized coming into the studio, one, these guys really were not the greatest musicians, but I mean, they didn't understand a lot of things, how studios work, and like Richie Wise produced like the first Kiss album, and they were buddies, so I'm sure like that was kind of like an easy recording session. But they wanted to do something big, something bold with this album, and with Ezrin, he wasn't going to take no shit. Everybody fucking up in the studio. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, you had Ace Frehley, who was pretty much not very dependable at this point. Yeah. Okay, Peter Criss had his problems, but Gene and Paul were definitely down for putting something really classic. And what he would do is he would basically have them come into the studio and fucking yell at them and say, like, he had a whistle. Yeah. And he would blow the whistle and say, all right, campers, we're going to work.
Get your shit together,
get your shit together, And, I mean, there was a time when they were recording something, and Gene Simmons kind of like it was an outro of the song where maybe you'd have a fade out or something, and he just, like, stopped playing, right? And Ezrin said, "Don't you ever fucking do that again."
Wow.
And they weren't used to really being talked to like that in the studio. But they, Paul Stanley's even on record saying we needed that.
Yeah, they did need that.
Yeah, he called it musical boot camp.
But look how good the album turned out. Because to me, I still think that song, with this first song, that song to me is like
Detroit
the
Rock
album.
City. I mean,
to me, that's the album. Like right there, you open with that song, and then you ease into the end, which is like motherfucker. This is the album.
One thing that they did for the first time is they had welcomed in some outside writing.
Yeah.
Okay, of these songs. There was a country writer to a group named Becky Hubbs and Lou Anderson, and they would write country songs. But there was a song that they wrote that Peter Criss was supposed to sing called "Ain't None of Your Business." They would work on this, but then reject it after a while. I think it ended up on what's that guy named? Michael DeBar's album.
Yeah.
Okay, at one point in his band that he had in the 70s. But Kim Fowley was brought in. Okay, now Kim Fowley's an interesting guy. We should do a show on him one day because he had a very long career. He only died a few years ago. He was like the manager to the Runaways.
Yep.
Okay, now if you ever saw the movie, you know how psycho he was.
Yeah.
But he had a long career even before that. He's the guy who wrote the old 1960 song called Alley Oop.
Alley-oop?
Yeah, he wrote that. Okay, but he had a long career of in the 60s of psychedelic kind of stuff and just weird bubblegum kind of stuff, and he was involved with a band called the Hollywood All Stars. Okay, and they would make an album, but the album would never be released. And they would use some tracks from that and some ideas from that unreleased album with this Kiss album.
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, like "King of the Nighttime World."
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a cover. A lot of people don't know that. All right. Now, if you look at the writing, you'll see it was written by Kim Fowley, I believe Mark Anthony, who was the singer of the Hollywood Stars.
Yeah.
That was, like I said, it was an unreleased album from '74, so no one knew this stuff, but they were just giving it to Kiss to use.
Yeah, to use.
Yeah. Now years later, that album would be released.
Yeah.
So you could go on YouTube or whatever and check out the original "King of the Nighttime World" with the other guy singing.
Okay.
Yeah. Bob Ezrin was familiar with Kim because the original version of "Escape," which is a song on "Welcome to My Nightmare" by Alice Cooper, was done by the Hollywood Stars. They also brought in guitarist Dick Wagner. Now, Dick Wagner was another guy that Ezrin knew from Alice Cooper's band.
Yeah.
He also worked with Lou Reed on the Rock and Roll Animal live album.
Yep.
He's a fantastic guitarist. He started out in the 60s. He's from Detroit. And you bring a Detroit guy in, especially in those years, it's just going to be hard-nosed rock and roll. But he mostly goes uncredited on the album.
Okay.
Because
he
plays guitar on "Sweet Pain" on the album, and he also does the acoustic guitar on "Beth," which is we'll talk about that in a minute. But what would happen is, and I know this firsthand because I was told by my buddy Rick Rivets, who was friends with Ace Frehley. He said during the making of "Destroyer," Ace and Rick and a bunch of guys were playing cards on the Upper West Side somewhere in an apartment. And Gene and Paul were calling every 5 minutes like, "Get the fuck over here, it's time for you to do your part." And he was like, "Fuck you, I'm playing cards." So I think there's even more tracks that probably Dick Wagner's on, and they just don't admit it or what, but Ace hardly plays on that album.
Oh, yeah.
Now, live, when they toured the album, he did it great.
Yeah.
Okay, there was no problem. It wasn't like he didn't play the parts or anything. It's just when it came down to the studio stuff, Ace was he wanted to get fucked up.
Yeah, he just wanted to party. That's somebody good. I can play them on real fucking stage.
Right. That's what Matt is to him, Now, one thing to mention too is that this was going to be a much more produced album. They were going to be bringing in strings, okay, and different techniques, choruses. There's a couple of the New York Philharmonic was brought in.
Yeah.
Okay, so this album was probably right away they knew this was going to be the most expensive album that they ever did, and they were lucky because the Kiss Alive tour in Europe, okay, the Kiss Alive tour that they did in Europe. They toured all over the place, but specifically that was so well received and they made so much money that they had the money to do the album.
Oh yeah,
basically it went right to that, Now, it would be released March 15th, 1976. It would go to number 1 in the Billboard 200, Top 200, but it dropped to 192 by August of that year.
Yeah.
All right, so it kind of like ascended quick and then dropped off real quick. And it was really not well received. Okay, a lot of Kiss fans felt it was too overproduced, that you didn't need Bob Ezrin in there, it wasn't raw enough.
And they had like almost like power ballad to it.
Well, yeah, I
also,
mean, look,
which is like the first
Beth.
form of
Okay,
power
you know,
ballad
Beth is a song
Yeah.
that was originally on the single for Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
Okay, it was the B-side.
Yeah.
And what would happen is during that period of like March and August of '76, they really weren't playing the singles.
Yeah.
The radio wasn't playing. It was like Detroit Rock City, Shout It Out Loud, Flaming Youth were the 3 singles
Yeah.
off that album.
Flaming Youth is
and
another
yeah, it's a
great song.
great fucking song. But somehow, okay, radio stations started to pick up the B-side
Yeah.
of Detroit Rock City, which was Beth.
Yeah, which was
And
a
they
great
started
song.
playing it, so they released that as a single. All right. And
Isn't it funny that was the
blew-
genre for years later on for rock music? You would take the hardcore ballad like a Detroit Rock City kind of
They
song,
changed that,
and then
yeah.
you would take out like this power, like
Right.
this like love power.
Prior to Beth, if you were in a rock band, you really didn't do a ballad. You might,
Yeah.
you might, but it wouldn't be released as a single. Okay, and it wasn't the kind of ballad with the strings and everything
Yeah.
that you would. It was
No,
different.
different,
You know, it
yeah.
might be a slower song, a little
Yeah.
lighter, but definitely with an edge.
But you could tell it was a ballad.
It was ballad. You know, Peter Criss wrote it. I mean, and it's a great fucking song. I mean, I remember it as a kid. Couldn't get away from it.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you remember the K-Tel records.
yeah.
Remember K-Tel used to come out with those compilations?
Yeah, with more-
all right,
with
with
bunch
all
of-
different
yeah.
artists on it. You know, I remember buying the one with Beth, and I think it had the Alice Cooper ballad, "I Never Cry."
I Never
so, so it was like all soft songs or something. Like, you know.
Now you got what we have now. Now that's music. It's pretty much
Yeah.
doing the one that makes all the
Yeah.
songs together.
Yeah. But like I said, Peter Criss wrote that. I co-wrote it actually, and it got to number 7 in the charts in the Hot 100. It was the first top 10 single they ever had.
Yep.
And it basically not only did the single do well, it pushed the sales of the album.
Yep.
So that by November of 1976, where it was dropping, it was now rising
It was
again.
rising, yeah.
And it actually would go platinum.
Yep.
Okay, that's
It
a
did
million
go
copies.
platinum, yeah.
Okay, so right off the bat, it was huge. Now over the years, I think this album had been. It took a while for I think people to admit that they liked it.
You know what?
You know,
'Cause
as
this
hardcore Kiss fans.
You know what? 'Cause this is a
Yeah.
very different Kiss album.
Totally.
When you totally.
Yeah.
Like this is more like it started really hardcore, then it like mellow out to the song into like the
Yeah.
last song, "Rock and Roll Party." You could see like they were mellowing it out. Like it started really hard, and then it went to like. and then it
it's
picked up
almost
again. It's like
I
very.
look at
it was very up and down. That's what
I look
think
at
what
it
was,
as
the way
almost
they did it.
almost like a light concept album in a way. Like they had kind of like maybe not a constant theme, but there was something gelling these songs together that
Yeah.
they kind of made sense in a way. You know when you go from Detroit Rock City into King of the Nighttime World, that cut. I mean, basically the song goes into the other
Yeah,
song.
into the other
you
song.
know, and it's perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
You know what I would have done? I would have saved Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime for the final 2 songs, and I would have started off with Beth. I would have rearranged the whole album. I would have started with Beth, Sweet Pain,
You know,
then
it's
Shout It
interesting.
Out.
It's
I
interesting
would've-
you say that.
I would have
because you
rearranged
could've-
it totally different, and the
if you-
album
if you
would have been
start-
to the
If you
point.
started off with Beth, you were starting off with a song about guys in the studio that can't get out of the studio because
Yeah.
they're trying to find a sound.
Yeah.
All right, and I get you. I
And
get
then
you.
you
That's
go,
not a
and
bad
then,
idea.
and then you go with Sweet Pain, and then you go with Shout It Out. Oh, we finally found our edge. Now we sing with
Interesting.
screaming. I'm telling you, I would
Interesting.
have set the.
Nah, you thought about that, huh? You
I did. Yeah, I was thinking.
I
I
like
said,
that.
what the fuck would they do?
No, that's not a bad idea.
I would have changed. I would have changed the album a little different. But because
Yeah.
you start with such a powerful song, and this is the first time, then the rest of the song kind of, okay, they're good. And I think that's what most people felt.
I think so.
And then you listen to the album again. It's a fantastic album. But I just-
Critically,
Yeah.
it was like shot.
yeah, it was panned.
Shut
I can
down.
see why.
You know, I mean, there was a couple people on record saying like, listen, Kiss is like over the top already. Why do we need to have an over the top production? Like it's just too much.
But there was a good over-the-top production. The problem is, it's a kind of album that you would like in the beginning. It's a kind of album that grows on you. Like the more you listen to, you more.
I've always, as a big Kiss fan, I've always been made fun of for liking the song "Great Expectations."
Yeah.
Okay. Because the lyrics are fucking hilarious on that song. All right. You know, it's like you look at you watch me singing the words and you see what my mouth can do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
right.
yeah, Gene. Yeah, right. Asshole.
With the tongue coming down to his
exactly. With his tongue hanging out, and you know, then he says, "You watch me playing guitar, you see what my fingers can do."
Yeah.
It's like, oh man,
it's
like a call out to every chick.
You know, it was almost like a version of as my guitar gently weeps kind of style. Because the guitar is screaming, it's crying.
Yeah.
And this guy's talking about, look what I can do. This is what I would do to you, honey. I'm playing the guitar like I'm playing your body. That's really what he was saying.
Yeah,
Think about that.
Exactly. It was like a sexual song, done with like strings on it and everything. You know, they brought the New York Philharmonic in with that.
Fantastic.
You know. Now the album's artwork has to be mentioned because I think it's their best album cover as well. They've had good album covers over the years, especially early on. I also love the Kiss Alive. The live shot is classic. You know, they're kind of like based right here on my shirt. The artwork was done by we used to be called like a fantasy artist named Ken Kelly. And one night, I think Gene and Paul knew about him because they were very interested in like comic books and stuff early on, and they knew Ken Kelly, and they gave him a backstage pass to the show. And from what I understand is, you know, he had never seen them before and was just fucking blown away by the show, you know, and it kind of like inspired him, and he came up with this like apocalyptic kind of look for the album cover, but actually the first one that he did, drawing he did, was shot down.
It was almost like a heavy metal kind of cover. Remember the magazine Heavy Metal?
Yes.
It was almost like a cover like that.
Similar.
Like a little thing. Like
kind of.
You know, with
definitely.
a band like.
But almost cartoonish.
Yeah, cartoonish.
Yeah, almost cartoonish.
But they also, you the one a few weeks, like, I'm going to bring this up now. You actually saw Kiss like last year live.
I did see Kiss last year. I've seen them a few times over the years. You know, they're still on their farewell tour. Okay, they keep adding dates.
You know, I was disappointed when I saw Kiss because I saw them without the makeup.
I saw them without the makeup too.
And that was like...
yeah, I mean, it wasn't quite the same.
I think the makeup just added that dimension.
Yeah, I mean, when they came back in '96 with the Psycho Circus album and threw the makeup back on, you know, that was classic.
That was
remember they did the concert under the Brooklyn Bridge?
Oh yeah,
that was great. You know. It's been a lot of years since you've seen them, 15 years since you've seen them in makeup, basically at that point. But ever since then, they've kept the makeup on. So.
Nah, they need to do that.
They know that. They know that's what they got to do.
Because you also had comic books. Last time you showed me, you had some Kiss comic books.
Yep,
They had a bunch of comic books.
I mean, Kiss franchised themselves.
They had movies also. Like
there was Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, which is horrible fucking.
No, it's not. It's fantastic.
No, it's so bad. It's good. No, but even like Paul Stanley is like, you know, he's like, we didn't even know what the hell we were doing with that movie, you know. And they don't even use their voices. They dub in like other voices for them. You know, it's ridiculous.
You know, that's a movie that we should do with Scott the Clown. Because that movie, when's the last time you even saw that movie? Like I
haven't seen
that
it
thing
quite a few
been
years.
very.
But you know what I did see, and you can get this on, I think, Amazon Prime. It's Scooby-Doo meets Kiss.
Oh yeah,
okay. It's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
It's fucking great though. I mean, they just like there's a scene when it's kind of like Phantom of the Park too, because there's like an amusement park and everything. But there's a scene when like Kiss like kind of reveals who they are, and they're on like there's like a witch that's trying to get everybody, and they're like on this like spaceship, and then they're like playing "I Was Made for Loving You," and it's just fucking great. Like Gene just grabs his bass and he's like like that, you know. It's like
dude, did you ever have Getting an Island meet Kiss?
Was there something with that?
For some reason, I keep thinking they were on Kiss.
Kiss on Gilligan? I don't think so.
I don't think, but wouldn't that be great?
That would be great.
Kiss on Getting
You know,
an Island?
Gene would have banged Ginger. And Marianne. Probably both at the same time.
Oh, that would have been some scenes. Him in the back fucking with Marianne and Ginger.
Ace would have gotten drunk with the skipper.
No, with Howard.
With who?
With Thurston.
Oh, Thurston Howell?
The third. He would have been fucked up with him because they were always, him and his wife were always, if you ever
They always seem kind of drunk, right?
They were always
Thurston
drinking
Howell.
martinis.
Yeah, they were drinking
Hey,
martinis.
lovely.
Yeah, love you. Oh, man.
They were fucked up, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. Getting back to the album cover for a second, the first version of it was rejected because it was considered like too violent looking, but they ended up using like portions of it on the back cover with like the burned out buildings and stuff like that, cartoonish looking.
It was like a very apocalypto kind of fucking.
Yeah. Now, when I bought this album as a kid, it got me into the Kiss Army because it had like a cool Kiss Army advertisement.
Oh yeah.
And I just signed up for it. I used to get like a patch and shit.
The good old days.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I got, man. I mean, I think it's become a.
But you want to talk about some of the song, how it starts? It starts with the great Detroit Rock City. Like once you open up with that, I mean, you're like, holy shit!
The other night,
I
I took my Camaro out, and I actually was playing that as I was pulling out.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing with the guy, he's revving the car. Yeah. I was like, this is fucking great.
Do you ever seen the movie Detroit Rock City?
Yeah, I love that movie.
That was fantastic.
I love that
movie. It was fantastic.
I love that movie. And Gene said that he based that movie on Rock and Roll High School. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
It's kind of like a similar plot.
That was really good.
You know, the kid has to get tickets and all that stuff, and I love that movie.
You know, I never knew the king of the nighttime world. I thought that was fantastic. Also,
I love this. That might be my favorite song on the album.
God of Thunder is also
God
pretty
of Thunder is
fucking good.
amazing. He still does that live. That's when he spits the blood and everything, you know. And actually, when I saw them last year, they always do this. Is he'll get like lifted up doing that song. So at one point he's like on top of the arena, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fucking bat wings, you know, singing that shit.
The other one, Great Expectation, your song.
Great Expectations. I love that song.
So here's another song, Flaming Youth. Is that where the band got the name from, Flaming Youth, or they were around before this?
What band, Flaming Youth?
There's a band called Flaming Youth.
Yeah. I'm sure they got it from the Kiss song. Yeah.
Then what do you think about the song Sweet Pain?
Sweet Pain's great. It's a different song really than everything on the album.
Like,
it's got a good groove to it. You know, it's like
if I didn't know, I would not think that was Kiss.
Yeah, because it's different than the rest of the
album.
album.
Like holy shit.
Yeah.
Shout it out, Mike.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
That's a great song.
And at the live, that's amazing too.
And then you got Beth. And then you got Do You Love Me? That's like the only song that was like it all.
No, I love the lyrics to that because it's, you really like my limousine. You like the way the wheels turn. Yeah. You like my 7-inch leather heel.
Yeah.
Like the way he says it. You know, it's like, all right.
And Rock and Roll Party ends the song, which I thought was great.
That's all just like a little
instrumental thing at the end.
Kind of like just, it was weird at the end.
That was good because it went out with that. Yeah. Like, you're like, holy shit, all right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And there's a good sense of the album being recorded live.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a live feel to it.
It was like a live feel because they just went from one song to another, and the album was only like 38 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean,
which is like holy shit.
That's all you need.
Made it for a great album.
I mean, look, rock and roll was not meant for real rock and roll was not supposed to be 20-minute fucking songs.
No.
You know,
it was almost like a punk rock and roll album with nice length songs.
Look, I mean,
but not
a lot of the punk bands in the '70s. Okay, a lot of the punk bands in the '70s were influenced by Kiss, whether they wanted to admit it or not.
Yeah.
Okay, I know the Misfits were.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, they kind of looked at Kiss as the group to
the
be
pioneers,
like. The group to be like. Now, Gene Simmons is on record saying the two best bands ever signed out of New York City is the Ramones and Kiss. Of course, he would say Kiss. But in a way, he's right.
Yeah.
Definitely the two biggest rock bands really ever made the most money. I would say Kiss made a lot of money.
All right, man. So thank you.
Before we do that,
I
want to mention something. I want to bring up Joey Pinter again.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We had a great show.
We're gonna
review.
Right. Joey, for those who don't know, he was the guitar player in the Waldos. He was also in a punk rock band called the Knots in the late '70s that used to play Max's Kansas City a lot. Great guy. Been in touch with him, and he's been very active musically. He did send me 2 songs, and you can get them on SoundCloud. The first being a song called My Guitar, and a song called Convert. Okay. And we're going to be doing, hopefully soon, an interview with him.
Should we play? Play those songs maybe on one of the next shows we do? Like play the song just to see what people think and
yeah.
review it?
I'll ask Joe if he wants us to do that. I'm hoping that we can get this interview with him in the next maybe month.
Yeah.
Right. We're working on some technical aspects of that.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, my guitar and Convert, snotty vocals. Kind of like a Stones meets Johnny Thunder's guitar sound.
Wow.
It's he calls it working class rock, and it absolutely fucking is.
Wow.
By every sense of the word. If you remember the Waldos, anybody watching out there, if you remember when Joey was in the band, they were fucking great. They're still good, but it's a different lineup. But I used to stand in front of him at the Continental, and it was like watching Keith Richards play.
Yeah.
He was that good, you know. But I just want to give a shout out to him and his wife Angie, and hopefully we'll get that interview soon. And also hopefully he gets me some more songs. He's putting everything out on SoundCloud. A song called My Guitar and a song called Convert. So look it up. Look it costs $1. Do it. Listen to it. Buy it. It's great.
Here's another thing. What did I want to tell you? Shit. Oh, and remember, guys, pretty soon the only way you can see us on live and stuff is to subscribe on our YouTube channel, Getting Lumped Up.
We will be not doing Facebook Live much longer.
We're doing one more show. So the last show that will be on Facebook Live is going to be The Tots, which is coming right after this.
Yep.
And pretty much after that, we're just going to be putting up, and we'll put a link to our YouTube channel. Try to subscribe.
Yep.
Another thing, did you use your Vigo this week to watch any TV
I did.
shows?
I used my Vidgo. For those who don't know, Vidgo is this great app that's out there now. It's for streaming television. The way it works is you download the app, you pick the channel. There's different tiers and amounts of channels that you can get.
Yeah.
There's over 80 channels, I believe. These guys are just starting out. They're a great bunch of guys doing this app, and you can stream. And the idea is that you will be able to chat and send comments back and forth to friends that are also using the same app.
Yeah, which is great.
And you can put up memes, you can put up pictures, and I think they're working on something where it's even more interactive, they said.
Yeah,
right?
they are working on more stuff.
So definitely check Vidgo.
Yeah.
Vidgo, Vidgo.
Yeah, people. And remember, don't get drunk, get lumped up.